And I'm so excited to be here today. Welcome to the Fire Time Podcast. Now, I'm looking around at all of the episodes that we've done this season, and I'm really excited. This is actually the longest season that we've had in the podcast so far. And I'm laughing because season 5 is going to start the Tuesday after Labor Day. And we're actually not going to have that much of a break between season 4 and 5 because we've been pumping out so much content. I love it. I hope that you guys do too. In today's episode, we are going to be diving deep on department number 4 of 8 in a winning hearth retailer. And this is something just to bring you up to speed for those of you that this might be the first episode in the series you've listened to. About a year ago, Grant Falco and I were on an airplane to Minneapolis, and we had a brainstorming session of our 8 departments that we used to run our businesses and all the tools that helped us do that. And the back half of this podcast season has been dedicated to that. So this is department number 4 of 8, and it is the service department. Now, if you want to back up, you can listen to leadership, sales, and installation in the previous 3 episodes, but today we're diving deep on service. Before we do that, though, one thing I just want to make known to everybody who hasn't signed up yet is you need to check out the FireTime Network. Now, the FireTime Network launched back in March, and it's got just about 400 people in it right now from the hearth industry. And basically, these are business leaders that have come to one spot to get better. And ultimately, within the FireTime Network, what you're going to find is courses. There's a ton of free courses that go through how to run meetings, how to do sales, installation, just very tangible things right now as we're kind of figuring out this new normal in the midst of the COVID crisis. These courses will absolutely make a difference and shape your business. So you get access to courses, you get access to leaders, distributors, manufacturers, and all kinds of people in the industry. And lastly, you're going to get inspiration. Basically, our rhythm is that every week we're posting a video with one thing you need to be thinking about throughout the upcoming week. We're going to be posting a poll where you can get information on other companies and you can report yourself how things are going. We do that on a once-a-week basis. And then every month we've got a happy hour phone call. So to check that out, you can go to thefiretimenetwork.com. It's totally free to sign up. The only thing is that you're going to have to fill out an anonymous survey about the state of our industry expo. So if you go to thefiretimenetwork.com and click sign up, you can take the survey and then it will prompt you to create an account. Okay, so jumping into today's episode on service. A couple things I want to talk about first is that, number one, there's going to be a lot of crossover in regards to similarities to the installation department because service and installation are very, very similar. Now, they're not the same. And I know there's a lot of companies where the installers double as service techs, and that's okay when you're a small company growing. But as your company starts to scale, you really do want to separate these out. And for me, that's actually something that I really didn't understand for my first probably 9 years in the industry. I just assumed that service and installation were all the same. In this upcoming conversation, I mentioned that prior to working at Fireside Home Solutions, I one time had an owner of a company that I worked for tell me, service is a necessary evil. You grit your teeth, you offer it because you want to take care of your customers, but it will never make you money. It will always just make your life terrible. And I would actually disagree with that. Me and Grant jump into that pretty heavily in this episode. But if you feel like that, it's understandable. And so my hope for you is that this episode can give you tools and just some basic steps to take to grow your service team, even if that's just one person, because the truth is that if you've already built an installation department, it's not that hard to cross over to service. Service can be implemented very quickly, which is amazing. The other thing with service too is that service is a monster moneymaker. I mean, honestly, service work is probably your highest margin work in the company. I mean, it truly is. And I would actually think about service as a marketing that pays you because people have problems and they need those problems solved. If you can deliver an amazing experience from start to finish, fix those problems, and leave with happy customers, they will tell their friends because no one really knows where to go to fix their fireplace. I mean, so this is something that you got to take advantage of. Think about it as marketing that pays you. Now, in this conversation, I'm just going to bring up a few things to listen for, and then I'll get out of the way and you can hear the conversation with Grant. We talk very specifically about accountability and metrics. This is super important, and we haven't done it yet. I think in season 5 we probably will, but at some point in the future we're going to do an episode on creating scoreboards for your teams. Creating a public scoreboard for the people in your company is one of the most important things you can do as a leader. And there's going to be different scoreboards depending on what the role of the team members is. But we spend a lot of time talking about Grant's service scoreboard. Having the accountability of a scoreboard where on a weekly basis, team members can look at it. They can know if they won. They can know if they lost. They have to give a report for their progress or lack thereof on the scoreboard is very powerful. And I'm telling you, it's not micromanagement. This is actually the way that you rally team members together. Your team members actually want that accountability. And chances are that they might already be winning, but they don't know it. So your scoreboard is going to help them know that they're winning. And if your company is losing, it aligns everybody as to what's wrong and what we need to do together. So we dive deep on this. The very last thing I'll say is that when it comes to accountability, this is one of the hardest parts of being a leader. I have conversations with business owners all the time, and it is very, very hard to have conversations of accountability. As you start to be intentional with setting expectations, with having a public scoreboard and having a cadence of regular meetings, you're going to find that a lot of the pieces of accountability take care of themselves because you've built a framework. Now, you still have to drive the ship and you still have to have tough conversations, but the data is the data. And when you gather on a weekly or a bi-weekly basis to review it, you're not speaking emotionally. You're not coming unhinged and they're just saying, hey, why is that person being such a jerk? You're speaking about, hey, this is the mark that we were trying to go to and we didn't hit it. Let's talk about why that is together. So my hope is that you listen intently for those things in the conversation. And as always, we'll circle back at the end and talk about it. But in the meantime, I want you to listen to this conversation with Grant Falco.